Carpathians, 190,000 square kilometre wilderness, weaving across 7 countries, through Poland, Slovakia, Romania and the Ukraine. This vast, untamed region is home to most of Europe's surviving apex predators and its last great mixed forest. More than half of this ancient mountain range lies within modern Romania. Here, man has lived in harmony with nature for millennia. But today, that delicate balance is under threat.
In this, the final episode of Wild Carpathia, we'll discover how the snow and ice transforms the rural landscapes from a collage of colour to a sepia study of barren beauty. We'll go in search of the lost and secret places and bring you closer to Romania's fragile flora and fauna than ever before. I will also try to prove why preserving this country's natural and cultural treasures could ensure a sustainable future for all, be it animal, vegetable or mineral. So don't adjust your set or look away, because the fate of this unique corner of Europe is ours to protect and celebrate, or to lose forever.
The snows arrive a little later each year to the Carpathians. But within hours of the first furtive flakes, the fields and forests lose their autumn hues and are hidden beneath a heavy cloak of brilliant white. There's nothing hesitant about the onset of winter. For Romania's fauna, this is a time of feast and famine. The fat reserves they have been busy building over the last few months are now essential to survival. Brown bears seek out a den to hibernate until the arrival of spring. Only a few younger males remain partially active and can still be seen foraging for food laid down for them at a growing number of bear hides across the country.
This is, I think, the best hide I've been to in Romania because it's reflective glass, so the animals can't see you when you're inside, but you can see them. So all you have to do is keep very quiet for at least 3 or 4 hours at a time if you're visiting a bear hide. And in the winter, also wrap up warm because it can get down to -20 and you're going to be sitting still. And there's one other thing. If you really want to maximise your chances of seeing a bear, then don't have a bath the night before because the more you can smell like them, the less chance they have of sensing you.
Closer to civilization, on the edges of the forest, the autumn harvests have all been gathered, and the livestock safely ensconced in barns and stables. Christmas is looming, and villages and hotels prepare to welcome a stream of tourists keen to take advantage of this newly minted winter wonderland. For many city dwellers, it's a chance to return to their family roots and fill the shortest days with banqueting and celebration. Here in the north of the country, the end of the year is deeply accented by worship and tradition. Some Christian and others dating even further back. In the village of Calanești, deep in the Maramureș, the carol singers braved the sub-zero temperatures. As they prepare to serenade their local community. For hotels offering winter getaways, this is a chance to fill the coffers before the dead months of January and February. Among these, a new wave of aspirational eco-lodges are opening their doors to an increasing number of foreign travellers.
Yeah, it's correctly.
Prince Charles's guest house in Miklishvar offers the home from historic home experience, with roaring hearths and traditional cuisine. Guests can also take recommended day trips to witness increasingly bygone scenes. That may soon become all too far and few between. As the snows deepen, the winter sports season gets underway. On the fringes of Kalaman National Park in Transylvania, the annual dog sledding competition is about to commence. Competitors from all over the world come here to Pasăltiuța to jostle for a mantelpiece of coveted prizes. The wait is almost over as the first contestants line up for the starting gun.
Discutăm de un sport care are un grad de spectaculozitate ridicat. Mai întâi mixul de iarnă adevărată, de natură, de munte, ca atelaje de 10, de 12 câini să poată fi controlați de așa natură încât totul să decurgă ok, atunci devine un spectacol sublim pentru orice privitor. Deoarece acest an a avut și un specific aparte, pentru că reprezentantul World Slag Dog Association a fost prezent la noi pentru a face o evaluare a capacității organizatorice pe de o parte și a calității traseelor de concurs. Discutăm de 33-34 de kilometri de trasee de concurs care trebuie trase ca o pârtie deschisă, arată impecabil pentru securitatea mașerilor și a cățeilor noștri și toți acești kilometri, zeci de kilometri, trebuie indicați de așa natură încât mașerii și căței să înțeleagă exact ce au de făcut în fiecare punct. Ori această evaluare, până în acest moment, pare a fi favorabilă. Dacă evaluarea finală va fi favorabilă, atunci există posibilitatea să fim recomandați pentru a organiza competiții europene și mondiale mai departe.
Not far away is the headquarters of an NGO that is attempting to promote green values by combining social projects with conservation. Tășălasa Social is quietly one of the most active charities in Romania. I met up with founder Alin Iuseriu as he was catching dinner in his local living classroom.
Here? Yeah. Let me here. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Mr. Charlie. Whoa. How's that? Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I've never been ice fishing before. This is very exciting.
Nouă ni se pare că este foarte puțin respect pentru pădure. Și atunci am făcut această sală de clasă, peste 10.000 de copii au trecut pe aici, în care explicăm pădurea, care este relația dintre apă, dintre pădure și om. Este un triunghi foarte important. Cred că anul acesta o să ne apropiem de 1 milion. Dacă reușim să mai plantăm, încă cam 30.000 ne lipsește și atunci o să avem 1 milion de copaci. Problemele lângă acest habitat sunt foarte, foarte multe, pentru că toți ar vrea să îl valorifice, dacă se poate. Noi aici, exact aici, stăm în centru, dacă 200 de kilometri ne întoarcem, trăiesc 25% din populația de râs a Europei. Deci este, din punctul meu de vedere, un habitat care, la nivel cel puțin european, este foarte important să-l protejeze toată Europa, pentru că eu cred că România nu are putere singură să-l protejeze, și asta din cauza că ne lipsește educația.
I must say, it is a very beautiful place to have your office.
Thank you very much. Este și plăcerea mea să mă trezesc aici în fiecare dimineață.
So this is the Roman road.
Asta este drumul romanilor, da. Este parte din Via Transilvanica. Aici au trăit sași, au trăit maghiari, secui, au trăit evrei, au trăit români, au trăit romi, au trăit toate aceste națiuni la un loc, într-un loc excepțional de frumos, care merită să fie cunoscut la nivel mondial, după părerea mea. Și atunci am făcut un long distance trail, un drum de mare distanță, care intră de la Dubeta Turnul Severin, merge până la Putna, are 1000 de kilometri prin toate etajele istorice ale României, prin toate etajele naturale și prin toate locurile etnice, prin toate culturile prin care trece. Trece prin locuri spectaculos de frumoase. Eu am fost pe Camino de Santiago și știu cam cum este să mergi. În România, noi am și pus în informațiile pe care le-am dat, la fiecare 15, 20, 25 de kilometri maxim este un loc de cazare unde se poate locui. România, din păcate, nu are o infrastructură. Este o țară extraordinar de frumoasă, o țară mare care are foarte multe locuri extraordinare, dar nu le găsești. Această formă, pentru că este atât de bine marcată, va avea și posibilitatea să scoată noi povești, comunități noi, care nu au fost turistice.
The positive effects of charities like Tășălasa Social can often be felt not just by the recipients themselves, but also by the people who devote time and energy to championing their cause. There are few examples closer to home than that of Alin's brother Tibi, one of Romania's most celebrated athletes and world-famous endurance marathon runner.
Pe mine Tășălasa Social, să zic așa, m-a reabilitat, pentru că eu am stat 10 ani în detenție, într-o țară străină, după care am venit aici și am fost cam pierdut, nu mă regăseam nicicum. Și în primii ani nu am alergat, dar la un moment dat îmi scoteam câinii la plimbare și eu luau la fugă pe aici și am zis la un moment dat, bă, ce-ar fi să alerg și eu puțin? Și așa am început. A fost de ajuns că în câteva luni de zile mi-am îndrăgostit de sportul ăsta, mi-a plăcut atât de mult încât nu m-am mai oprit. Iar la un moment dat mi-am dat seama că pe distanță scurtă nu prea îmi place, nu mă regăsesc și încercam să-mi depășesc de fiecare dată distanța care am alergat-o. Și senzația aia de depășire a distanței îmi plăcea enorm de mult. Tășălasa Social a fost unul dintre vectorii importanți în reabilitarea mea, să zic așa, și în ceea ce sunt astăzi, de fapt. Am început prima dată cu munca și cu organizarea proiectelor care le avem noi, cu împăduriri, cu taberele de copii. Atunci când am făcut Via Maria Terezia, de exemplu, nu a fost o competiție, a fost o pădure tematică, un traseu tematic pentru copii și am zis, mă, cum să promovăm și să îmbunătățim toate astea? Hai să facem o competiție și așa știe lumea. Vine în fiecare an în jur de 2000 de oameni care trec pe pe acel traseu. Avem în jur de 1500 de sportivi în fiecare an care aleargă la competiția asta și am încercat să promovăm, pentru că ei trebuie să înțeleagă, la noi percepția asta de natură și om e înțelesă greșit. Ei au impresia că natura are nevoie de noi, când de fapt nu, noi avem nevoie de natură și trebuie să o respectăm.
Further south, where the Carpathians are at their most vertiginous, the mountain slopes play host to numerous ski resorts. For fans of snow kiting, the plateau above the town of Sănaia is one of the top places in the world to come and pursue this relatively new and high-octane sport. North of Sănaia, and the mountains give way to the land beyond the forest, or Transylvania from the Latin. Ancient Saxon villages spread across the frozen foothills, with their iconic fortified churches and brightly coloured homes. Change is slow to reach these remote communities. Just the contrast of the passing seasons and the opportunities these present, especially to the young. There are hundreds of stunning monuments and sleepy towns to explore, each with their own unique identity. For many travellers, they are a day trip from the region's capital cities of Cluj, Târgu-Mureș, Sibiu and Brașov. Like this fortified church and monastery at Prejme. The largest of its kind in southeastern Europe, Prejme was built by Teutonic knights at the beginning of the 13th century. During 500 years of existence, the fortress was besieged 50 times, but only captured once. Access to the building was through a 100-foot-long arched passage, fortified with 2 rows of gates. Each family had a designated room for shelter in case of attack. These circular walls accommodated 272 rooms, stacked over 4 stories and linked by wooden staircases. The fortress also contains one of the most valuable and oldest Gothic altars in Romania, dating from the mid-15th century. The cities themselves offer a lively contrast and polar opposite to the quiet of the countryside. Brașov is one of the most popular places for winter breaks. Its russet rooftops heavy with snow, leaning back from cobbled streets festooned with Christmas decorations. Minutes drive on serpentine roads above the neon promenades, and you come to Poiana Brașov, one of Romania's top ski destinations. Rising into and above the clouds, this little tourist mecca is host to over 25 kilometers of runs and lifts that dissect its alpine heights. I caught up with filmmaker and ski guide Cornelius Tepeluș for a tour of the many intersecting routes that weave down the mountain. Midway, you can stop for lunch at a scenic cabin that, despite its altitude, 1,604 meters, predates the ski slopes by almost a century. Built by a local Saxon in 1883, Postavaru offers impressive views, hot soup and cold beer.
What is it that makes Romania unique as a winter destination, do you think?
The first thing that you feel of here in Romania, you feel that it's somehow a communion between past and present. If you look at how rich the traditions are in the villages, especially in the winter time, you have the Christmas and the New Year, you have different other events, you know, where all the villagers, all the people, they go and enjoy. So these unspoiled traditions are so nice that people have to experience. They're so varied as well, because if you go 20 miles away from everything, is different. So a trip in Romania in winter, it's a spiritual trip as well.
Back at the foot of the mountain, après-ski is already getting underway. This is the meticulously restored Hotel Teleferic, one of the oldest in Poiana Brașov. While guests relax in the spa or go in search of refreshment, the kitchens are getting ready for another night of chaos. A few hundred yards away, food museum and restaurant Coliba Haiducilor, which specializes in authentic Romanian recipes, opens its doors once again.
Not only is this one of the oldest restaurants in Romania, but it has this incredible food museum. And it demonstrates why Romania was known as the breadbasket of Europe, because it has this huge spread of fantastic organic fruit and vegetables. But it's not just the produce itself, it's the way in which it's treated. They make these jams, these spreads, these oils, all this homegrown produce, which is, apart from being hugely delicious, immensely colourful.
Upstairs, guests have already begun to arrive. And owner Viorel bustles between the tables as he has done for the last 60 years.
This is the A-list barbecue selection. We have the lamb, we have the pork sausages traditionally made at Christmas, and we've got, we have a whole lamb, look. Right, beautiful, look at that. The smell, I can't even begin to describe to you how delicious that is. This is not a restaurant that you can come to on a daily basis, or you're just going to be hugely fat. But, merci, okay. Oh, don't do this. This is like taunting the wolves. Oh, thank you so much. The deluxe Romanian barbecue. Super. Thank you.
While the sound and fury of the ski season continues unabated for the thousands of staff and holidaymakers who briefly inhabit this bright but artificial world, for one local resident, it signifies less than nothing. Near the summit, beneath the notice of gondolas full of impatient skiers, a mere 300 meters from the piste, resides one of Romania's most reclusive hermits. Father Onofre has lived in the forest here with no electricity or modern conveniences for over 25 years. Braving the extreme cold and fending for himself alongside the wolves, lynx and bears that share his arboreal kingdom.
Aici am 26 de ani de când stau aici, după Revoluție 1992, cam așa. A fost decizia mea, nu a fost din asta hotărârea pe care am luat-o ca să trăiesc în pustie. Poate să fie și voia lui Dumnezeu, că am rezistat de 26 de ani aici. Iarna vin schiurii mai mult, vara mai puțin. Mi-e place mai mult și e mai bine că nu am așa vizitatori, că stau în liniște și în rugăciune și cu problemele care le am aici. Dimineața când mă trezesc pe la ora 5-6, pe urmă intru în biserică, fac acatistul, pe urmă dau la găini de mâncare, la animale și mă apuc să fac ceva de mâncare sau ce mai am. După masă fac ceva pentru mine, mâncare, ciorbă, supe sau altele. Seara la 6 e vecernia, fac și noaptea fac mezonoptica cu trene la ora 12 până la ora 3-4. Și mă atipesc o oră, 2, 5, 6 mă trezesc. Iar asta e programul. Iarna folosesc cât un par de țuică, dar cu piper încălzită sau un par de vin. Și din asta îi omoară microbii. Și dacă folosesc sau usturoi, mănânc foarte mult și asta nu sunt vaccinată sau ceva, dar n-am fost bolnav niciodată decât sunt aici de gripă sau răceală sau ceva. Asta este un medicament pe care dacă ar folosi toată lumea, nu cred că ar muri atât cât au murit până în prezent.
Opposite the peaks of Poiana, the mountains of Buceci loom over the town of Bran. And compete for sky with its rival Piatra Craiului. Which now, more than any other time of the year, demonstrates its eligibility as the backdrop for Hollywood blockbuster Cold Mountain. Just below it, the village of Peștera meanders over the surrounding hills. Streets interconnected by dirt roads that become inaccessible during the winter for those not in possession of a four-wheel drive. Cradled between these two majestic mountain ranges presides the amphitheatre, as much a work of art as a guest house. Designed by Moldavian sculptor Constantin Robu and his family, this is a complex of buildings that borrows as much from Tolkien as it does from centuries-old architectural traditions.
The problem with tourism in Romania is that everybody wants results fast. So they put up concrete and cement buildings, pile them high, create lots of rooms, and they look ugly and cheap, and people don't come. Whereas if you take the time, invest your love and your energy into a place, then you can end up with something like this. The amphitheatre took 15 years, not just to get the land, but to design it, to bring everything up here, and to create this beautiful environment. Surrounded by mountains in the middle of nature, so you come here and you feel like you're in the wild, but you still have the comforts of home. Like a cappuccino.
Across the valley, in the shadow of Buceci, lives a man who shares Father Onofre's belief in the power of ancient herbal remedies and devotes his days to rediscovering traditional cures and collecting rare plants to create restorative creams and herbal syrups. A reformed hunter and keen wildlife enthusiast, Constantin Mihai also trudges miles through the snow to lay down salt for the stags, witnessing firsthand the denigration of one of Romania's most iconic natural reserves.
Am fost vânător vreme de 30 de ani. Acum sunt ecologist. Este un omagiu adus animalelor pe care le-am împușcat în atâția ani de vânătoare. Și pe lângă faptul că rumegătoarele au nevoie de multă sare spesă de calciu, mai ales pe perioada de iarnă. Și de câțiva ani de zile mai au amabilitatea să-mi lase câte un corn sau chiar o pereche de coarne. Și atunci îmi fac și eu datoria de bun samaritan să-i mulțumesc. Sunt mutat de 13 ani. Prima zonă care m-a încântat aici, prima poziție a fost plaiul Liconiței. Aici se găseau foarte multă zmeură. Numai că în ultimul an a avut loc o defrișare. Cei care au făcut exploatarea au tras arborii cu cepi, cu ramuri, cu tot. De sus și-au distrus tot sub arboretul, ca să nu se mai obosească să-i curețe de acele ramuri în locul în care au fost doborâți arborii. Arborii sunt cu mult mai puțin decât acum 13 ani când m-am mutat eu, nu mai zic din anii 80, de când tot veneam de multe ori în zonă. Dar s-au înmulțit animalele, pentru că nu s-au făcut vânători în zonă. Trebuie implicare mai multă atunci în urma pagubelor pe care le fac. Nu de la lupi, nu au fost pagube, ci în urma atacului urșilor sau unui urs. Există lege în care este stipulat faptul că cei care au avut de suferit daune de pe urma atacului animalelor sălbatice, în speță lup, urs, să fie despăgubiți. Dar numai că nu se respectă și nu se respectă pentru că statul dă vina pe asociațiile de vânătoare, asociațiile de vânătoare dau vina pe cei de la regiile silvice, care ar trebui să administreze și administrează vânatul pe tot teritoriul României și atunci nimeni nu despăgubește pe nimeni cu nimic. Rămâne păgubașul cu paguba și de aici apar multe reacții adverse față de înmulțirea numărului de animale sălbatice, după cum spuneam, de lup și de urs în special. Cu cât protejăm mai mult natura, cu cât protejăm mai mult ceea ce se află în pădurile și vietățile care trăiesc în pădure, cu cât relațiile interumane vor fi mai principiale, mai corecte, mai obiective, mai adevărate, cu atât vom rezista mai mult. Ca și umanitate, ca și speță umană.
Unfortunately, commercial forestry is still permitted in national parks. The construction of new logging tracks to replace those rendered useless by rain and surface runoff means that these increasingly isolated ecosystems shrink every year. As man erodes further the habitat that has nurtured us since the dawn of time. While insufficient funds to enforce existing legislation and systemic corruption prevent significant reform, people are starting to wage a grassroots war against the blight of illegal logging. One system that has successfully been tested is a solar-powered mobile phone network that identifies the sound of chainsaws and reports back with a GPS location. Friend and conservationist Peter Levente is trialling this system on behalf of charity Agent Green.
Acum de timp de 2 ani testăm telefoanele pe copaci și pentru noi a fost important să vedem cum rezistă condițiile meteo. Așa funcționează sistemul că dacă se aude un sunet de drujbă sau foc de armă, primim un mesaj pe telefon și trimite 3 linkuri. Trimite un link la coordinatele de GPS și a doilea link este de la care device a venit mesajul și a treilea este un link pe care poți să auzi ce sunet a prins și poți să verifici înainte să vii. Și asta ia rază de 1 kilometru. Și în timp de 10 minute, cum suntem și noi, putem să venim și să verificăm dacă mesajul pe care am trimit este fals sau este adevărat. Eu cred că este foarte important, nu numai că ajută la munca, să zicem, vânătorilor și pădurarilor și cei care lucrează în pădure, este important că ar putea să oprească așa tăieri, să zicem, ilegale în toată țara și ar fi un viitor pentru noi, ca să păstrăm pădurile, ca să nu mai taie ilegal.
Schemes like these are dependent on the participation of private owners, committed to the sustainable management of forest habitats. Often, the solution is a combination of approaches, as it has been here at Mikesh and Zabala, which also relies on paying visitors to provide for the upkeep of the ancestral estate, becoming, in the process, one of the more inspiring templates for tourism in Romania. The recently converted guest house affords employment for a sizable chunk of the community, as well as offering a romantic hideaway for those hoping to recharge their batteries and enjoy some old-world chic. Unlike private estates such as Zabala, most national parks in the Carpathians remain vulnerable to routine exploitation. Even today, if you want to completely preserve an ecosystem, the only viable solution is to own it. This is why Romanian NGO Fundația Conservation Carpathia, or FCC, has been acquiring land in the Făgăraș Mountains in an effort to create one of the largest natural reserves in Europe. I caught up with director Christoph Promberger to see how work was progressing.
We have managed to secure a lot more forests. So we have now 22,000 hectares, over 22,000 hectares of forest that we have managed to purchase and put in total protection. So that's very positive. We have 2 wildlife concessions that we have leased for full protection again. We're working a lot with local communities. We're setting up conservation enterprises in order to show local people, demonstrate to local people that there's an advantage, economic advantage of conservation. So the whole project has really grown
coming
big.
together.
Yes, and then we're getting, step by step to make people understand that actually a Făgăraș Mountains National Park, would be a great thing to have.
How does the reserve compare to other national parks and natural parks in Romania? Because it's much bigger, isn't it?
Well, let's even talk about Europe.
Yeah.
We have, in Europe about 300 and something national parks. I don't know exactly. And most of them are in the range of 15,000 hectares, 20,000, 30,000 maybe. Here we're talking about 200,000. So this would be the largest forest national park in all of Europe.
Why is it so important to do this now?
Because if you don't stop this destruction that's happening right now, in another 10 or 20 years' time, that wouldn't be such a possibility anymore. And, the value that we have right now and the opportunity will be lost. So we got to do it now or never. Romania has to decide, do we want to base our future upon ecotourism, about conservation, about the quality of life, or do we just want to go down the road as so many other countries did and destroy our natural resources?
Solutions.
But there's so many examples. Go to Costa Rica, 24% of the surface is national park, and ecotourism is the biggest industry. We have worked out a vision for Romania, and we want 12% of the country's surface as national parks. We want 30% of the overall surface as protected areas, and we want to have 75% of the national parks being fully protected. If we do that, Romania gets the leader in conservation, in a sustainable development in all of Europe. So there's a huge potential.
I know it's been difficult in some ways telling people about what you're doing for a while because there was a lot of suspicion initially.
Of course there is a lot of suspicion still now, because people cannot imagine that you do something and you don't have an economic interest. Nobody can make any profit from the foundation. The money that we attract are donations to help Romania to protect their forest. I give you an example. In Piatra Craiului National Park, we have bought by now about, I think, close to 3,000 hectares of forest, with the goal to help the national park to increase the percentage of fully protected areas. So whatever we buy there, we want to have in full protection. But on the other side, we have gotten a record now of 10 years. People see after 10 years we still haven't logged, we still haven't shot any bears and so on. And so they start to
realize that
this
is for
actually,
real.
there's something more behind than somebody who wants to make a big.
I guess it's difficult in a country where there is a lot of corruption. So it breeds a climate of cynicism. And I think it takes a while to break that cynicism, doesn't it? To actually, if you're trying to do something worthwhile, to actually convince people that, no, this is a genuine project.
Well, and at the same time, there is no example yet. People, whatever they have seen as example was that somebody was telling you the one thing and then did the other thing. But at the moment, of course, it's difficult because nobody can understand why would you spend, more than 50 million euro to buy land and then
you're not going to use
it. You're going to use it and you just want to protect it for the sake of the little mushrooms and the lichens and the mosses and the trees and the birds and the insects and whatever.
Yeah. Most of the money for FCC's come from abroad, hasn't it, from foreign donors. Why is that? Why hasn't there been more money forthcoming from Romania itself?
The concept of philanthropy hasn't been developed very well in Romania yet. But we see now that corporates start to take over responsibility for their own country. The CEO of all kind of corporates want to contribute something for the well-being of the country. And these people understand that nature is something that is a unique selling point for Romania. So they want to preserve the nature for their own people.
FCC is also undertaking a census of apex predators. In order to monitor wolf, bear and lynx populations, their team has positioned motion sensor cameras to record animal numbers and to try to achieve a greater understanding of Europe's last surviving big carnivores. Christoph's wife Barbara took me for a trek through the foothills to check the latest results.
This is so exciting seeing tracks of wolves. I mean, I know it's almost impossible to see a wolf.
You have to be incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
Ah, great.
Right.
That's nice.
So you can tell what they've been eating, presumably.
Of course, we can see what they've been eating, but even more important, or what we are interested in now, is getting the genetic information, because we want to find out how many wolves are there, so we can figure out what individual was here, but also how they're related inside the pack, with other packs, and there's incredible much information.
At least we don't actually have to sample it in the Bear Grylls sense of the word. We have more scientific methods, right?
If you feel like doing that, I'm taking only a tiny little bit and I leave the rest for you.
It's quite a ride, thank you.
Trying to get as many cells as possible.
That seems to be rather a small amount, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at forensics, they don't need a lot of information.
No, that's probably right. Do you hear them howling occasionally?
Occasionally, but again, you have to be really lucky, because the mountains here are quite steep, narrow valleys, so the howl doesn't carry for
And the forest
forever.
insulates sound.
Yeah. So you have to be close by to hear it.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing me here, because to see, fresh evidence of a wolf.
Yeah, that's always amazing. It still excites me. I mean, this is a pretty good spot. We found the scat, we found the tracks.
We know they're here.
And we know that they're here.
Would they have the same route? I mean, do they come back? I know they travel for hundreds of kilometers, but would they come back through here again?
They do, because they have their certain scent posts, and they mark their territory, so they have their routes that they keep following many times.
Are wolf numbers and apex predator numbers in the Carpathians, are they going down?
It's really hard to tell. Actually, nobody really knows. I mean, there are certainly areas where they might have dropped in the recent years, and there are areas where they seem to be stable, but honestly, I think nobody really knows. It's also because at the moment, the way it is done in Romania, it's still based on hunting areas. And I mean, you're talking here about far-roaming species, so you can't count them based on one little hunting area. You have to really think bigger and monitor them on a whole bioregion. This is why it's so important to use really modern tools that exist. I mean, we have camera traps, we have the genetic monitoring, they function, and it just needs to be implemented.
In areas like Bilbao on the borders of Bukovina, wolves also appear to be thriving. There is no better time of year to see evidence of this than when the snows provide a blank canvas on which many stories are pressed, if you know where to look. A particularly dramatic chapter played out on this hillside, leaving in its wake the deep indentation of hooves surrounded by fresh paw prints. The scene of a recent battle. Its savage outcome to be found just a few hundred meters further up the valley.
I feel like a guest that's arrived late to the dinner party. Everyone's long gone, and all we have are the leftovers. But this was a stag brought down by wolves, and it's a really good time for wolves at the moment, because catching heavy prey is easy when the snow's deep and they sink in. The wolves can skim over the top, surround them and bring them down. You can see from the footprints behind me that they've come back several times to finish off the carcass. There's not much left now. And as for the wolves, they've just disappeared like ghosts back into the forest.
Wolves aren't the only predator that thrives in these sub-zero temperatures. While they rely on the strength of the pack and the weight of numbers, the more skillful hunter is the lynx. With piercing night vision and perfect camouflage by day, Europe's only surviving big cat blends effortlessly with its surroundings, to the detriment of unwary herbivores. Even now, Carpathia's fragile and unique ecosystems are still largely intact. Their continued existence depends on finding other revenue streams to replace the temptation for local people, logging companies, and regional authorities to exploit their resources far beyond any hope of sustainability. One alternative source of income that could bridge this growing chasm is tourism. Romania is a country that presided over the borders between the Occident and the Orient for thousands of years. Its legacy is a historic landscape second to none. But even this is being eclipsed by a lack of investment, greed, and apathy. Many of its most important monuments are derelict. And yet these cultural treasures could, with help, ensure prosperity for the communities that surround them. A dedicated NGO that is endeavoring to fight this terminal decline is the Architects Ambulance, which identifies some of the most endangered buildings and provides the expertise and manpower necessary to repair them. I joined director Eugene Vaida at a small fortified church in the village of Filitelnic in Mureș County, where work was already underway.
Who originated this project?
It's the Arcus Foundation from Târgu Mureș, and mainly Georg Fritzsch, who is a Saxon.
His family come from here.
Come from here, and he's living now in Austria. And he gets small fundings from private donors, and with 40,000 they managed to do all this job here. For example, all the roofs for the school, for the church, for the tower, the entrances, and everything. So they also did a bathroom for the children here in this school.
Fantastic, but there's still quite a lot to do, isn't there?
It's a lot to do, so it's a very long-term project here, and it will be probably a few €100,000, the investment.
Yes, but I mean, when you think that's nothing for reinvigorating a community and bringing tourists here.
No, exactly. The tourist is a great opportunity, but beneath, it's also important to work with the community, to give jobs to the people in the village, to revive traditional crafts, and the educational part is definitely very important. With this type of work, you are teaching students.
And so you're bringing up a generation of people who care more about their patrimony as well.
Exactly. So if you don't put hands on the training, you never will get very sensitive to a monument. It's not something that you read out of books.
I mean, it seems there are masses of monuments across the country that are on the verge of falling down.
3 years ago, we estimated there are over 600 in a stage of collapse and pre-collapse, but now there are even more. So the peak of the destruction of heritage has not been raised yet.
Okay, so it's getting worse every year?
Every year worse, because since 30 years no one did anything, since the communist period no one did anything, and roofs have big problems. So we are expecting to have more to do and to involve the civil society. Otherwise, just with the Ministry for Culture, they are not prepared to fund and to support the protection of heritage. So we have to work together and to help this issue. So here we worked for 1 week on this 20-meter long wall to complete the upper part of the bricks which are leaning over the wall to protect it. And then we will complete also with the tiles.
Prince Charles is involved, isn't he, with the ambulance as well?
We're very lucky to have him as the main supporter of the project, because he believed from the beginning, because it involves the community, it involves traditional crafts, it involves the educational part for young experts and the locals, and of course that we are saving heritage as an important value for culture here.
So you think more people are caring about their heritage?
Yes, definitely. It's raising gradually, but very steep.
While the ancient villages and forests of Carpathia are rapidly losing ground to a modernizing world, one aspect of this arboreal kingdom that has remained unchanged is the lifeblood that sustains it. High in the mountains, pure mineral water flows from deep underground, becoming streams that tumble downwards, feeding the rivers that dissect the towering peaks. The rich mineral content of Romania's springs is also fated for its health-giving benefits. Villages like Baile Homorod, where the waters emerge pre-carbonated, draw tourists all year round for the chance to immerse themselves in a weekend of pampering, or just to fill up the car for later. Due to Romania's relative proximity to a tectonic plate margin, a number of these springs are also geothermal, defying the Siberian temperatures and clouding the crisp air with billowing steam. Though most of these are well documented, there are still a few that you can have entirely to yourself, if you're happy to go the extra distance.
That is bliss. And also, I suspect, therapeutic. It's quite a strange sensation, feeling the bubbles tingling between your toes. It's much hotter down there at ground level than it is up here, though, I can tell you. Still, what a fantastic place to come for a swim in the middle of winter.
The remedial properties of Romania's hot springs has led to the success of many spa towns for which this region was once famous, like Calamenești, that dates back to the Roman conquest. Romania's springs have also had a huge impact on human settlement, so it's little surprise they're also steeped in history and folklore.
There's a rather beguiling folk legend associated with the Jesus spring here in Harghita. It says that if you drink of the waters, you leave a little piece of your heart, and you'll always yearn to return. That sounds like quite a commitment. I guess now I just have to wait and see.
As days get longer, the snow softens and begins to melt as winter relaxes its grip on the countryside. Across the land, frozen waterfalls, sculpted into a fierce choreography of silent hues, now drip and crack as gravity reasserts itself. This is a time for birth and rebirth. Bears begin to emerge from their dens, keen to re-establish their territory, leave their mark, and prepare for the opportunity to meet a suitable partner. Females who have spent winter nurturing a new clutch of cubs endure the proud and anxious moment when their offspring take their first tentative steps into a strange and unfamiliar world. For the people who still inhabit the remote villages, it's a moment of respite. Another year survived, and the expectation of easier times comes as a welcome reprieve. But while the melting snow is a long overdue blessing, it also reveals the damage humans are continuing to wreak on our shared habitat. Even in communities as remote as the village of Săbaticia near Toplița, a lack of respect for the environment and poor education means the natural world no longer provides the benefits afforded to previous generations.
Curând din cauza băilor, a sodul, a clorului, au murit peștii tot. Acum ai numai muldărie. Puteai să bei omul, apă, animalele, dar acum nimica. nimica, spălam rufe în părău, că noi așa zicem. Acum nu mai poți, că e numai muldărie. Când eram micuț, prindeam cu găleata la pești. De asta e urmă cu câți ai, cu 650. Acum nici de aia micuți atâta nu mai sunt. Le puneam mâncare unde clăteam rufele și atâția se adunau acolo în apă. Iarna e foarte greauă și ne trebuie o grămadă de lemne și nu prea are cine să ne aducă. Suntem bolnavi, așa, iarna, de acum trebuie să începem lucrul la câmp, nu mai putem, nu găsim tineri la lucru și astea sunt problemele. Și de umblat trebuie să umblăm pentru toate interesurile la casă. Și numai eu, singură, că soțul nu se poate deplasa, copiii nu avem și uite așa suntem, cu viața asta bătrânească. Na. Păi e greu, dar dacă aici ne-am născut, aici trebuie să murim, că noi nu mai avem altul pas de mărți în altă parte. Păi de tineret au plecat, numai pe ăștia, de la 70 de ani, majoritatea în sus, prea puțini, sunt rămași până la 50. Cum a fost gospodăria asta și gospodărie frumoasă și uite ce hal să ajunge. Dacă nu vine cineva să o cumpere, să o întrețuie, casa deja se vede, ea în picioare, dar-i putredă. Nu știu, domnule, dar aici bătrâni noi nu mai putem face nimic. Nimic, absolut.
And so spring, once again, baptizes Europe's last great wilderness, exchanging light and shade for a fresh coat of many colours. In a matter of days, the last drifts melt and defer to a briefly withered palate, and new life returns to Carpathia. This is a country that confounds definition and proves to be as enchanting wreathed in snow and ice as it is during the sweltering summer sun. But without our help, many of its wonders will be lost forever.
These untamed forests, with their increasingly corralled inhabitants, are shrinking at a rate of nearly 3 hectares per hour. Winters here are getting shorter. Age-old monuments are being neglected and collapsing into rubble. Time will tell whether Romania continues to allow greed and corruption to prevail. And in a handful of years, this becomes just a record of the past, rather than a film celebrating its beauty. Because there is nowhere else like this left in Europe. A national effort is urgently needed to save these wild landscapes and historic buildings. But if it succeeds, then tourism could become the greatest source of revenue, and Romania a bright example to the rest of the world.